This is the plaintiff, Noreen Rusido. She says she had her property staked by a land surveyor because she was installing a fence, and her neighbor took it upon himself to remove the stakes. She needs to know exactly where the boundary lines are before she puts up her fence, has had it with her crazy neighbor, and is suing him for $854, the cost of a new surveyor. This is the defendant, Thomas just said. He says his neighbor's gone mad because she put up a fence, and once it was up, he removed the wooden stakes, which were on his side of the fence. All of a sudden, he gets a letter saying he's being sued for removing the stakes, which were on his property. He immediately replaced the stakes in the same holes they were removed from, but that's not good enough for his kooky neighbor. So here they are. He's accused of staking his claim.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says her neighbor, the defendant, screwed up her plan to put up a fence, but the defendant says she's crazy and she trespassed on his property to boot. It's the case of please fence me in.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Noreen Rusido, you are suing your neighbor Thomas Jassett for $854, the cost of legal fees plus a survey that you conducted on your property line because, according to you, he intentionally pulled out the markers dividing your property lines. Tell me what happened here.
I originally decided to have the property surveyed because my neighbor burns, and it fills.
He does what?
He burns like leaves and things.
Okay.
And it was filling my house with smoke. And I thought if I put a fence up, it would like elevate the smoke a little bit, plus push it back where he was burning from. So I had the property surveyed in August. I went over in August and told him if he could please get any of his property off my yard. I gave him 6 weeks to do it, that I would be putting up a fence.
Because he had property on your yard?
He did have some property.
How much property was on your yard?
Maybe a truckload.
A lot of property.
Well, he had some wood and things that had been cut down.
Okay. So did he get it out in the time you requested?
No, he didn't. We had the fence put up in October. The survey was done in August. I asked 6 weeks to have the property removed because we had to pick out the fence and order it. And so we ordered it, and it was installed. And the day it was installed...
Who moved all the stuff then?
Mr. Jassett did come over after the fence was installed, stating that he had had surgery and he hadn't had a chance to remove his thing. I was just going to remove it, just have it thrown out. At that point, the fence is up. He hadn't removed it. He hadn't contacted me. So he asked if he could remove it still, and I told him he could. Just please have it all off the property by the end of the day.
Okay.
Which he didn't. My husband had to go over and ask him to please finish moving things.
Okay.
That was like October. So after Thanksgiving, my son had been home with his girlfriend from Texas, and we went out. And when we went out, that was the first time I saw it, that I noticed the stakes were gone, because it's winter, I don't go out.
So what happened? You had stakes in the ground marking your property?
The survey stakes that the surveyor put up.
All right, and it cost you $800 to get the survey?
Yes, ma'am.
And he had pulled up the stakes?
Yes.
All right, what kind of stakes were they?
They're wooden stakes with an orange chip on the top of them.
Okay, what happened?
Most of that is true, except I didn't get a deadline as to when she was actually going to do it. She came over to me. I never had met her.
Sounds like from August to October. I mean, that's, you know.
Okay, so
maybe you should get around to it, you know.
The wood I moved it was just firewood. So I moved the firewood and stuff.
Did you pull out the stakes?
I did pull the stakes out.
All right. Come on over here and show me where on this diagram the stakes would have been.
After the fence was installed, the markers were like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, why did you pull the markers out?
Well, the fence was up. I have kids, my neighbors, everybody plays in the yard. They were sticking up about 10 inches.
They're wooden.
I have pictures if you want.
Yeah, let me see the pictures.
Do you want him to go back? No, you want
Yeah,
to stay
I
here.
do.
Okay, step back. Thank you.
Can I just also point something out? He not only pulled out the markers on his side of the property, he also pulled out the markers on my other neighbor's property. So where it
Did
makes
you pull out the
L-
markers on the other?
That's not true. I have pictures of everything.
What do you mean you have pictures of everything?
I took pictures of all the markers that I removed and then put back, and then I took pictures of all the markers that are still in place on either side of the abutters.
Okay, these are,
Where did you get the impression he pulled the neighbor's markers?
because.
The neighbor told you that?
I have pictures.
No, you have pictures of them pulled. How do you know he pulled them?
Because I have pictures of all of them sticking out of his wood pile. When he pulled them out, he put them in his wood pile.
Okay, let me see.
Okay, that's the before, that's the backyard, that's his property.
Why are they all in your wood pile?
And that's my
I
neighbor's
just pulled them
property.
I pulled them out and I just laid them down.
But the ones from your neighbor too?
No, you can see, I only took out 4 stakes, and the 4 stakes are right back where they were.
So if she has a picture of more than 4 stakes,
I would be really surprised at that.
do you have a picture
Are those
of
the
more than
stakes?
4 stakes? I just see the little bit of
Right,
red.
but can I show
And this
you
is-
on
this
the
is other one that
diagram?
was-
No,
that
can
was
you show me
sticking
in the
out.
picture
I
of more
can't.
than
All the
4
pictures.
stakes?
You want me to come up there?
Yeah, but I'm
Hold on a
just, I don't know that the picture's going to show it. What's a person on his side of the fence supposed to do with the danger that a stake of wood popping out of a ground presents when you have children who may be running around? I understand that's your property, but you also have an obligation, not to have, an attractive nuisance or something dangerous that, especially because it's this side of it. You have a right to build the fence wherever the heck you want. If you wanted to build it in the halfway mark, you could. And this is still your property. And this marks your property. But this is a stake that's protruding out of the ground a good 2 feet. And the chances are that whatever kids are running in the yard are not going to quite understand the significance of that before they get their eye poked out. It just seems kind of wrong that this type of marker, not a marker, this type of marker. Because there are other markers. This is temporary when they shove the orange wood in there. There are other types of permanent markers that you can put in that are flat to the ground, so they don't pose a danger for anybody else.
Right, and again, as far as when this all happened, I was so flabbergasted. And I had told my other neighbor, again, we've gone from October, we're into December now. The weather has turned, there is snow on the ground. I had told my other neighbor that in the spring, I was going to have them cut down and either leave like a 2-inch high with still the orange top so we don't run over them with our lawnmowers, or something flat put in the ground. Mr. Jassett never gave me that opportunity to present him with that. He just
What do you mean he
pulled-
didn't give you that opportunity?
He just pulled them out. He never came over and said to me, look, I think these
No, but I mean,
pose a hazard.
okay, I understand what you're saying, but my question's a little bit different. It's you're putting the onus on him to, and that would have been wiser, of course, before you go around yanking people's stakes, to demand that they do something about the danger that it presents and give her a chance to do that the same way she gave you a chance to correct all the things you were doing wrong. But just yanking them all out. And why are you suing for $854 when I see a receipt from your survey people saying that it'll only cost $100 and something to...
It's $300 to have it resurveyed. Because originally, ma'am, you have to understand, I have been...
Because you hate him?
So why do next-door neighbors have so many feuds?
Because people are nosy by nature and get into each other's business.
Okay, I get nosy, but why do they get angry?
You're never that close with anybody you don't choose like you are with your neighbors.
And what is it? And it's just I get it. It's proximity going inside the courtroom.
What is the reason? The legal
Because I was
reason?
very upset. and
Okay,
I
so because you're
originally-
upset, you get to sue for 3 times what you're entitled to?
I didn't, again, it was a heated thing. It cost me $800. I want my money. Where's
Where's the receipt? Show me the receipt that I'm referring to. Oh, it was an email, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I emailed the surveyor and asked him to have this redone. How much would it be? I understand you can't make me better. You can only make me whole. So again,
Apparently you watch People's Court.
I do, and common sense and my temper have come down from that original. I can't believe you.
When did you file the lawsuit?
December 4th, I believe.
Okay, so you emailed them after you had filed the lawsuit.
I did.
Yeah, that's right.
Temper,
That's right.
like I said.
Okay, got it. Tell me why that is unreasonable to ask you to pay $300 to have them reinstall markers, assuming that the markers are appropriate for long-term preservation.
What I think is that the ones that I had taken out, the day that I got the letter from the court saying that I had to go to court, I immediately walked outside. I was able to actually see the holes that the stakes were in because I just pulled them
Really?
out. I have pictures of them.
Really?
Yeah, I have pictures of them. They're right there. You can look at them. And all
Show me the
Those are his
pictures.
pictures.
Show
where
all the
you can tell with all these leaves and decay and everything else.
Well, there was orange spray paint still right on the ground.
By the way, what is this? Because this is not what's in the picture.
That was the one steel rod that was on the corner that I did not put back in, that was sticking up out of the ground. There's a corner picture there of a lot line.
Are you saying corner?
Corner?
Yes.
Yes.
You're saying corner. Okay, I got it. I wasn't sure what you were saying. I'm sorry. All right. You know, you have a right to be upset about the stakes, or maybe not upset, to want to have some remedy to these stakes coming out. But there's so many remedies I can think of short of you erasing the survey. You know, you could have cut them down yourself. You could have asked her to cut them down and given her a chance to do so. You could have called the city. There's so many things you could have done. And what you just did was boom, 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 and then just remove them and erase the thing she paid almost $1,000 for. And it's not like you don't know there's survey markers. They're all marked with the word survey markers. Like, I don't think you have respect for the sanctity of the survey marker. And you know, there's a law that says that, you can't just pull out somebody's survey markers. But I also believe that her rights end where your rights begin. And that had you done this the right way, you could have had those things removed. But had you done it the right way, she wouldn't be out the survey. I'm going to order you to pay the $300 that it's going to cost to get it right by the official people, not by you shoving it into where you think the hole was. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
All right, so the plaintiff has collected not everything she sued for. You're the defendant on this case, and you come out on the losing end.
Yeah, well, you know what? She was right. I probably should have went over and talked to her first, but I didn't. And
if you had it to do over, what would you? How would you proceed?
I would go over and talk to her and see if we could, cut them down, like she said, or remark them. But that was the right thing to do.
All right. So, how's the temperature there in the neighborhood? There, peace in the valley.
That's great.
Between the two of you.
I'm good. I have no problems.
Right. You see her outside. What do you say to her?
Hello.
And she says hello back to you.
Sure. Why not?
All right. Okay. Good. All right. That's the way we like it.
Thank you.
Right down that way. All right. So, no hard feelings on your side.
No, not at all. Not at all. I just, wanted to be put right. If we ever sell the property, we need to know where the line is.
Right. Well, you didn't get everything you sued for.
Well, no, but again, cooler heads prevailed. I did, say how much would it really cost to have it done. So it was original versus how much it would cost, and I gave them that figure, so I'm good with it.
All right. So you know where your fence is now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Harvey.
I got to tell you, the more you live, the more you realize it's so stupid to get in these feuds. What you do is you be the bigger person, you go next door, you sit down and you say, look, we're both at fault here. Let's sit down, figure out how to get along.